we drove out to the location in one of the track vehicles, one of the Bradley fighting vehicles, mainly for the armor protection and so forth. But ultimately, the plan was for the two of us, Jack and I, to step out and meet out in the middle of this field with the two Davidians, basically in front of God and everybody, and it was intended to be an expression of trust and also a commitment to how much we wanted to get this resolved without anybody else being injured. It was a blowing, miserable day, sleet, storm, rain. I walked up, Jack had already begun to engage them in conversation. I was initially addressed by Wayne Martin, who was the attorney that was there, and he starts to get off on this rant about how we had, the government was totally out of hand, and we had violated their rights, done this, that, and the other thing. And I just stopped him. I said, listen, I understand your concern, and you need to bring that concern into a court of law, as you well know. I said, but as far as violating your rights, that's just simply not the case. There's two documents that I believe in and would give my life for. And one is the Constitution of the United States, protecting those rights. And the second thing was the Bible, because I knew full well that this was a huge part of their motivation. That seemed to shut him up. And Jack, who was just kind of a good old boy Southern sheriff, but just he had a PhD in street psychology, kind of maneuvered himself in so that he occupied Wayne Martin and I could begin to focus on Steve Schneider. Steve and I had a discussion for about, it seemed like another hour and 15 minutes. We went through a myriad of topics and issues and concerns. Remember, I had been talking with Steve since the first day, but this was the first time that either one of us had had the opportunity to stand toe to toe, look each other in the eye, and be candid and honest and open and quite literally vulnerable. And I think it tore down a lot of the adversarial boundaries or barriers. We got to talking about a number of things, but he brought up during the conversation we identified a number of key items that he felt would be instrumental if we could get them addressed in successfully concluding this situation. And those were, first and foremost, David's ability to continue his ministry from jail or once he was taken into custody. Second was access to legal representation. They went on with access to media coverage that would ensure that they were not treated, you know, unprofessionally when they were taken into custody. He had a shopping order of things. One of the last ones that really seemed to key was they wanted some assurance that ATF would not be allowed into the crime scene because they didn't want it, the term salted, they didn't want weapons introduced that simply were not part of the case. I assured them, I said, listen, I think we can get this accomplished. I was excited, and he seemed to be as well.